Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope that you got a chance to watch my two previous videos about the niche of light, a book written by Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, and this is section 3 and section 3 part A because this section has three parts, A, B, and C. And we are still on the first chapter of the book. This time we're going to talk about the meaning of light by the elite of the elite. And I have titled my videos The Niche of Light for Dummies because I tried to break down in an easy way the understanding of the book and so it can be easy for understand for everybody. I don't mean that you're a dummy, but I just mean that it would be so easy for everybody to understand that there probably won't be any complaint. I am Haja Fatima Dodo El Meki. I got my bachelor's degrees from the University of Jamiatul Zahra, located in Qom in the Islamic Republic of Iran. I'm not going to talk about myself because right now we need to know what the elite of the elite have to say about the word light. Before diving into the meaning of light according to the elite of the elite, let's read again this Surah 24, verse 35, which is the main reason of this book. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light is like a niche in which there is a lamp. The lamp is in a crystal. The crystal is like a shining star lit from the oil of a blessed olive tree, located neither to the east nor the west, whose oil would almost glow even without being touched by fire. Light upon light. Allah guides whoever He wills to His light, and Allah sets forth parable for humanity. For Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. Surah 24:35. So before talking about the definition of the word light by the elite of the elite, let me remind you the two previous definitions that we had. So according to the common people, the first sense of the word light refers to manifestation, such as the sun. It means that in order to see things, we need an element that's going to make these things manifest. For example, if it's dark and then there's the sun that appears, it makes everything around us be seen. So for the common people, the definition of light was just that manifestation, like that sun that makes things appear. And then we had the second definition. And the second definition was from the elite, because we have the elite of the elite and we have the elite. So the elite, they said it's good to have the sun make things appear, but if you don't have an eye to see things, then there's no need to have the sun. So for the elite, the word light refers to the eye. And it's simply the eye that we have, that you see. That's the one that the elite refers to as the definition of light. And then now the elite of the elite. Before giving their definition, they wanted to talk about seven imperfection of the eye, because the elite say that the eye is referred to the light. So the elite of the elite, I hope you're following me. So the elite of the elite are going to give seven imperfection of the eye before giving their own definition of the word light. So the first imperfection of the eye is that the eye cannot see itself. I don't think if your eye can see, I'm not sure, but your eye cannot see itself. So the eye cannot see itself. And that's one of the imperfections of the eye, the first one. The second imperfection, the second imperfection of the eye is that the eye does not see what is far from it and what is extremely close to it. I think we all agree with that. I wear glasses. My eyes already can't see well. But then if you don't wear glasses, I know that you are not able to see very far, or you are not able to see something that is very close to your eyes. So this is the second imperfection of the eye. It cannot see what is far, and it cannot see what is extremely close to it. The third imperfection is that the eye does not perceive what lies behind a veil. And you can put your hand in front of your eye, and you won't be able to see what is behind that. So your eye can only see what is presented in front of it. And if there's an obstacle, the eye won't be able to see what lies behind it. And that's the third imperfection. And for the fourth imperfection, the eye perceives the manifest dimension and surface of things only, meaning that the eye can only see the outside of things. For example, if you have a fruit, let's say you have avocado, you won't be able to see the inside of the fruit of the avocado unless you cut it. So the eye can only see what is presented from the outside and cannot see through things. So that's the fourth imperfection of the eye. The fifth imperfection is that the eye sees only some existent things. Like the eye is not able to see flavors, not to see heat, not to see cold, to perceive sounds. So the eye can only see some things and cannot perceive other things. That's the fifth imperfection. The sixth imperfection is that the eye does not see what is infinite. The eye needs to see some limits. For example, if you want to see a house has a shape and it has some limits. That's how you see it. But if, for example, there's something that doesn't have a limit, that's infinite, the eye is not able to see the whole picture. So the eye does not see what is infinite. So the seventh imperfection of the eye is that the eye sees large things as small. For example, it sees the sun having the size of a shield and the stars having the size of a dinar or a coin, and that is crowded upon a blue carpet, a blue carpet at night. But we know that it's not really the actual size of the sun and the stars, but that's what the eyes sees, and therefore it's the seventh imperfection according to the elite of the elite. So the elite of the elite have explained to us that the eye has seven imperfections, and even though it's closer to deserve the meaning of light, it's still not really the level that they want to explain the word light. The elite of the elite say that there is there's an eye inside our heart. So there's an eye inside our heart. That is the eye that deserves the meaning of light. And that eye is sometimes called rational faculty, and sometimes it's called spirit, and sometimes the human soul. But also, We need to put aside this expression and remember the videos for dummies. Okay, so let's put aside those expressions and only keep one, which is rational faculty. It all it kind of have the same meaning, but let's keep that expression. Rational faculty is that represent that I that is inside our heart and that has the meaning of light according to the elite of the elite. But this is only the first level of the explanation of the word light according to the elite of the elite. So they're preparing us to go even further to that meaning. So that's the first step. We know that the elite of the elite present to us that the word light is simply refers to the I that is inside our heart, which is the rational faculty. And this is the first step actually to the meaning of light. That's not the stop. Let's continue. Because the elite of the elite have said that there is an I inside our heart, the rational faculty. There is an I inside our heart, but also we have an outward eye. They wanted to compare those two eyes, okay, the one that helps us see and the eye that is in our heart. So first they say that the eye, the outward eye, cannot see itself, right? We agree on with that. But the rational faculty perceives other things and its own attributes. Second, the eye does not see what is far or extremely close, but the rational faculty can see things. It doesn't have to be close, it doesn't have to be far. The eye from the heart can see it. For example, you see how they say when they say out of sight, out of in French we say loin des yeux, près du cœur. If I have to interpret that, it's going to be far from the eye but close from the heart. So that the rational faculty, you can be very far. The distance doesn't mean anything because you can still feel you there. That's just to explain the second point. The third point is the eye does not perceive what is behind the veil, right? But the rational faculty moves freely. It can go very far. It can see. Let me give you an example. When I was in Iran, there were an Ayatollah. His name was Ayatollah Bahjat. And that Ayatollah, they say Ayatollah Bahjat, they say that he was able to see the real face of people. So when he was walking on in the streets, he had his head always down because he didn't want to look at people because he can see the real face. So I think that his eye was able to see. I mean, not the outward eye, but the eye from his heart was able to see the real face of people. So his eye was open in a way. So his eye didn't have that veil. He could see further than that. Okay, let's just continue with this. So the eye, the rational faculty moves freely. It doesn't have any obstacles. So number 4 is the eye perceives the manifest dimension and surface of things. Remember, we say that the eye can see, for example, the outside of the fruit, but not the inside. And this is where the rational faculty actually penetrates inside the things, inside the fruit, inside the human being. So I think maybe the story of Imam Ayatollah Bahjat is mostly for this point where the eye perceives what is inside our heart. So the fourth point is that the eye perceives only the outside, but the rational faculty sees what is inside things. So it's kind of like the number three, which is the veil, and the number four kind of seem the same because there's an obstacle and then you can see beyond that, but the outward eye cannot see it. And that's the fourth point. Remember, we have about seven imperfection of the outward eye, and we are comparing it to the rational faculty, and this is just number four. Number five is that the eye, the number five of imperfection that we're comparing the outward eye and the rational faculty. So the eye sees only some existent things. And for example, it can only see animals, it can see whatever we know we can see. But the eye, the outward eye, cannot see smell, cannot see temperature, um, cannot see sound. But then the rational faculty uses the five sense as a spy. So the five sense that we have are actually the faculty's spies. And it helps the eye, the rational faculty, to see things better and feel it better than the outward eye. That's for number five. And then for number six, the eye does not see what is infinite. Remember? But the rational faculty perceives objects of knowledge. You know, knowledge is infinite. So it just goes and goes. It's infinite. And that's how rational faculty see things. It doesn't have a limit. And then the seventh imperfection of the eyes was that the eye sees large things as small. Remember when we talked about the sun or the stars? The rational faculty knows that the star and the sun are larger than the earth, are larger than what we see. The rational faculty knows that. And then the eye, the outward eye, see the stars. I thought they were not moving, but the eye, the rational faculty, knows that the stars are moving. The rational faculty knows that, for example, this baby is born, is growing, and becoming a man, and the eye doesn't perceive every moment of the growth of a child. Not at the moment. So it's just like, oh, this step and this step, right? But the rational faculty knows that every moment there is growth. So there's those seven difference comparison that the elite of the elite wanted us to know about the outward eye and the eye that is in our heart, that is the rational faculty. Remember, there's that part of the imperfection of the eye where we say that the eye cannot see what is behind a veil. The same thing, the rational faculty has a veil that makes things difficult for him to see, for it to see what lies behind the veil. And that veil is simply our imagination, is our wrong beliefs, it's our wrong beliefs, imagination, and all the bad things that distraction. Yeah, that's things that distract us. So these things makes things difficult for the rational faculty to see clearly. The elite of the elite say that the rational faculty can perceive things very clearly, see the truth once you are dead. At that time, everything that you have done, good or bad, you will see it written in a book. Everything will be so clear for you, so that I will perceive things. So it means that Our imagination, our belief is an obstacle for us to see things clearly. That's why we have to have the right beliefs. We have to have the right thinking to be able to see things behind the veil. And the, now that we have talked about the eye in the heart, that rational faculty that the elite of the elite are talking about, that eye in the heart, I want to ask you this question. Does the meaning of this verse that I'm going to read for you sound different? It's Surah 22, verse 46. It says, "It is not the eyes that are blind, but the hearts." Before when I used to read this verse, I'd be like, oh, the heart, I understand, yes, it's not the eyes that are blind because I can only see with my eyes, but it's my heart that is blind. Yes, my heart because it's supposed to have love and things like that, and it's my heart that is blind. But I now understand that it is not the eyes that are blind, but the heart. Actually, it's not really the meaning the heart, but the eyes, the eye of the heart, the rational faculty that is blind. So I think now when you read the Quran and you see this part that talks about the heart, I think you may be able to understand things differently, right? It is not the eyes that are blind, but the hearts. So the heart, in my understanding, the heart now is the rational faculty that is blind. It is that eye inside of my heart that is blind because there's a veil that needs to be lifted. And for that, I need to have the good beliefs. I have to have not to be distracted. So that that rational faculty is really what is blind. It's not the heart that is just beating in our body. I don't know if you see things differently now, but for me, I see things differently since I have read this book and I have understand that rational faculty is that eye inside our heart. I just challenge you, go read the Quran and try to see the part that talks about the heart. And let me know if there's something that has changed for you. Okay, we have seen that there's a veil in front of the rational faculty that can be lifted and then things will be clear, right? But then the elite of the elite also want us to know that sometimes the rational faculty needs something, needs a fire to attract its attention, to wake up the rational faculty. And that thing that can shake the rational faculty is nothing that speech of wisdom. So, where can we find the speech of wisdom? What is the speech of wisdom? We know that there is a veil, okay, it be lifted, okay. We know that the rational faculty sometimes needs something to shake it. And the only thing that can shake the rational faculty is speech of wisdom. Where do we find the speech of wisdom? The speech of wisdom is nothing but the speech of God. And I think you have understand, you already imagine, I think you know already where we can find the speech of God. Where can we find the speech of God? We find the speech of wisdom, the speech of God in the holy books. And for here you can see that there's a picture of the Quran. It is appropriate for the Quran to be named light because that's where we find the speech of God. The speech of God, which is the speech of wisdom, which is the fire that shake the rational faculty. So till at this step, we understand that the Quran has the meaning of light. So it is appropriate for the Quran to be named light, just as the light of the sun is named light. The Quran is like the light of the sun, while the rational faculty is like the light of the eye. So we have, remember the steps that we talked about. We have that outward eye, okay? We have learned, let me just start over. So we have learned from the discussion that the eye, we have two eyes, right? The outward eye and the inward, the rational faculty. The outward eye is the eye that sees things, visibility, while the inward eye sees things from another world, okay? And each of these two eyes has a sun. This eye has the sun that we have, that we see, that planet, the eye, the sun. And then the eye in our heart has also a sun, S-U-N, a sun, and that is the Quran. So we have now two kind of light, two kind of sun, if I can say. There's the sun for our eye, and there's that sun for our eye in our heart, that is the Quran. Because that sun is the thing that, remember, when we talked about the common people, the definition of light for the common people, it was simply the manifestation, that sun that makes things appear, okay? So the sun that makes things appear for the eye inside our heart, the rational faculty, is the Quran. So the Quran is needed for the rational faculty to be able to see. So if we have to understand like that, we can say that for the elite of the elite, the second step of the meaning of light is the Quran. So the first step is rational faculty. Then rational faculty needs something, which is the Quran. So the Quran is more appropriate to be named light. But once again, that's not the end. Let's just wrap up here this video by reminding us what we have seen so far. So we have seen three different kind of meanings concerning the word light. For the common of people, we have seen that the manifestation, like the sun, that has the meaning of light because it makes things appear around us. And then we have seen the second definition from the elite is that the eye, that outward eye, has the meaning of light because we need that to be able to see even the sun that makes things appear. Okay? And we have seen that for the elite of the elite, there is an eye in our heart that is rational faculty that is actually the light. But then when we have understand that the rational faculty, that I needs something to shake it, needs something to enlighten it, and it's nothing than the Quran, the words of wisdom. So there's that second step, that second part for the elite of the elite concerning the meaning of light. So now we know that the meaning of light, it's more appropriate to be given to the Quran than to anything else. But still, they go deeper than that. We don't stop just there. I want to thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I would like to hear from you, any suggestion, and also stay tuned so you can know what is the other part that the elite of the elite are talking about regarding the word light, the definition of light, because the Quran is not the last step is not the last part of the definition of the word light. So I hope that you're going to join me to the next video, or just you're going to watch the next video and learn more about the definition about the word light according to the elite of the elite. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.